Kids, we need to add a little bit more to these concepts of anomaly, change, and trends that we mentioned several times. Anomaly is now fairly obvious, but it's a deviation from a climatology. And we defined climatology in the last podcast as an average over some period, typically 30 years. So it could be climatology of a particular day in a month, particular week in a month, any month, or particular month in a year, or the entire year's climatology, which means over 30 years, how is the annual mean temperature varying in your town, let's say. So change we also mentioned as something where anomalies are in one direction, let's say warming temperatures for many decades, typically one lifetime of a human being, so it has to be much longer than 30 years. We typically count the warming, global mean warming since industrial revolution as an indicator of climate change. And this warming, of course, has been much more prominent in the last 60 years or so, and it is promising to continue for a while, but not year to year. Remember, year to year temperatures can go up and down because the ocean can hide heat heat height hide heat and re-release it and so on. But if you average 10 years, then we saw that every 10-year period or a decade is now warmer than the previous decade for the last 6 decades or so. So that's a trend as well, and we call it climate change. But typically, trend is where, let's say, you have temperature in your town from 100 years ago, somebody has been keeping track, and now you are obviously measuring temperatures, and you take the difference and you divide by the number of years between the last point and the first point, and you call it the trend over that time. You can call it warming in degrees centigrade per year or degree Fahrenheit per year, or it could be degrees centigrade per 10 years, per 100 years, whatever. It's a trend, means it has a rate of warming or a rate of increase in humidity, a rate of change in rainfall, uh, sea level rise, glaciers melting. These are what we call trends, right? They are changes, but you have to be careful how long the record is being looked at again, because sometimes you may have a change that's only about 30 years and then it goes back. We can call it decadal variability, or sometimes we call it secular trend, and secular trends can have large impacts. If rainfall disappears for 30 years, that can have serious impacts on agriculture, and in past history, civilizations have moved or disappeared based on such secular changes as well, right? So this is fun